going to put more money in our pockets and give us better jobs. What the f*** were we waiting for? Petrol's through the roof. We only have ourselves to blame though. Why not promise to ban other things that are bad by 2050? Poverty, inequality, maths.
Okay, let's go. I need to get to the servo.
Yeah, petrol's through the roof. And good luck working out the fuel cycle at the moment. Cheap Ass Tuesday comes every 2 weeks. How long has that been a thing? And it ain't that cheap.
I don't want to be the one responsible for purchasing costly gasoline.
We only have ourselves to blame though. Petrol comes from oil, as we know, and we decided a few years ago that oil was bad, so we stopped trying to find more of it. The big oil companies started thinking twice about new drilling programs, and the banks were reluctant to finance the ones who were willing to dig a hole because the banks didn't want Extinction Rebellion supergluing their dicks to ATMs. And for a while there, we felt all smugly woke. Then we realised that none of us have Teslas, because they're expensive and don't go very far, and nobody has a hydrogen-powered car, because they haven't been invented yet. Just as we realised these two very important things, every house in the Northern Hemisphere turned their heaters on.
And winter is coming.
The price of oil did this. Britain actually ran out of petrol. Had nothing to do with the shortage of fuel, it was because of the shortage of truckies caused by Brexit. The Albanians and Romanians who had been driving petrol tankers around decided to stay home, and none of the Poms had their truck licences or could be bothered getting one.
What are you playing at?
That forced Boris to appeal for calm, saying he'd send in the army.
Don't panic, boy!
The Brits began panic buying. Petrol prices there are currently the highest on record, 143p. That's $2.60 Australian. And that happened just as it was getting cold, which forced up the price everywhere.
Including little old Perth.
We're halfway through the current 2-week price cycle. The last hike was last Wednesday, hit an all-time record price then. Unleaded was averaging 178.1 cents, and Coles Express was screwing us for more than $1.90. Now, Fuel Watch reckons $2 a litre is possible. That could happen on the next hike day, which is November 3, the day after Melbourne Cup, so you better hope that trifecta comes in.
Go Razzmatazz. Go Razzmatazz.
It's Bugle Boy winning by a head.
I lost everything.
OPEC, the cartel of oil-producing countries headed by those fine upstanding global citizens Saudi Arabia and Russia, is under pressure to add more supply, which they won't, because it's good sport watching people in California try to get to work when fuel is $4.50 a litre.
The money says petrol will be around a lot longer.
We tried to quit oil without having a substitute. There was nothing to vape. We had to go straight back on the Winnie Reds.
Oil, that is. Black gold. Texas tea.
Scott Morrison's quitting the hard stuff. He's just announced his plan to get us to net zero by 2050.
He's talking a lot about this plan.
Australians want a plan, and our plan
Sounds like a good plan. He says the plan is practical and gets it right. He says the plan
gets the balance right
between our concerns and our ambitions on climate change, whatever that means. He says
our plan
would not legislate on net zero because it's a plan that backs Australians. The plan would not cost jobs. It's not a set and forget plan, he says. In this plan, there is accountability because the plan would be measuring the fact that we are creating jobs.
Okay, so what's the plan?
There isn't one. Once you've waded through all the climate change chest thumping and virtue signalling, you get to the important bit about how we're actually going to do it. Apparently we already are. So we just need to keep on keeping on.
That's the plan?
That's the plan.
The plan states that Australia's reduction targets would be 85% achieved by strategies already announced.
That's your f***ing plan here?
The other 15% would be achieved through further breakthrough technologies. We're going to invent our way to net zero.
Welcome again to Muppet Labs, where the future is being made today.
And once someone's created this climate change flux capacitor, we're all going to be rich. Australians will be nearly $2,000 better off by doing the plan than not. Gross national income will be 1.6% higher. We're going to create 62,000 new regional mining and heavy industry jobs, and we're doing this with no new taxes or legislated targets. without raising electricity costs and without putting any industries, regions or existing jobs at risk.
If it sounds too good to be true.
It's a complete load of fanciful horseshit. It's like Enid Blyton wrote this thing. The government says we can get to net zero by 2050 without really doing anything different to what we were always going to do. And it's going to put more money in our pockets and give us better jobs. What the f*** were we waiting for?
If it doesn't work, politicians will have to be held to account.
By who? You? You're going to go to a press conference in 29 years' time and take the government to task over this issue? ScoMo's 53 years old. In 2050, he'll be 82. That's the average life expectancy for an Australian male.
Well, that's going to be Greta's job. What's your point, though?
My point is, by the time we know whether ScoMo was full of crap with his plan or not, he'll either be dead or very close to it. Why not promise to ban other things that are bad by 2050? Poverty, inequality, maths.
How about this for a reality check? Tesla is now worth $1 trillion.
Hertz is buying 100,000 Teslas. 20% of its fleet will be Model 3 sedans. It's a $4 billion deal that saw Tesla stock surge 15% to more than $1,000 a share. Now joined Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet and Amazon in the 12 zeros club. It took those companies a lot longer to get there than Tesla though. Tesla hit the market in 2010. Only Facebook got to the $1 trillion valuation quicker. Elon Musk made $48 billion in one day. He's now worth $340 billion. That's more than ExxonMobil, the oil supermajor that was the world's most valuable company just 8 years ago.
You see, everyone's getting on board.
Yeah, not everyone. There are fewer than 2,000 electric vehicles in the whole of WA. You can see most of them at school drop-off at Christchurch and MLC. There are only 400 public charging stations in WA. The state stretches 2,400 kilometres from top to bottom.
Oh, they went farther to the left of the slash than anyone ever dreamed.
Apparently we're suffering from something called range anxiety, particularly if you're driving through Kwinana.
Well, they like petrol down there.
They're not going to be able to afford it. I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.